This story is about a family and its carelessness that resulted in grief for them thereafter and forever. The family had four members: the eldest son, let us call him Ron, his youngest sister, let us call her Disha, and their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rajkwa. Ron told his parents that they should go to Masao, a place 7 hours from their hometown, to enjoy the weekend. Their parents were busy government officials, agreed to the idea, as they can hardly give time to themselves and to their children, and appreciated Ron for his idea. They slept, and in the next afternoon, the journey began. The children were enjoying the journey. They took the photographs, looked at animals, enjoyed the greenery, and just awaited the destination. The parents too were enjoying togetherness and sharing moments after a long time. They were just having the perfect drive. They had their lunch in the middle of the journey at a certain dhaba. As the journey continued, it became twilight too, and in the twilight, the weather seemed unfavorable to the family, as little bit rain occurred in the rural area. The journey though continued even after the rain, and nightfall came after that twilight. During the night time, the journey was even more eventful for the children, as it looked great. In that rural area, only a few more cars were there along with theirs. They were enjoying it. However, they were still 2 hours short of their destination, and began searching for a guest house in that rural area. Ultimately, they found an abandoned house with a hoarding placed there, in which was written Kanaklata Guest House. The mother said that they should not go to that guest house since it was abandoned, but the father saw that the door was open and decided to enter the building, and the children pleaded too, and the mother had to give in. The guest house was quite old and looked a bit spooky too. Darkness was there. After that, they freshened themselves up, and the father decided to go for a walk along with the family, but Ron refused. When the mother asked him to come, he said that he was 18 years old and can take care of himself. His father agreed to, and after a 15 minutes argument, the mother gave in. After that, Ron peacefully sat in the room and began crafting his horror stories. He was a horror lover. He began writing this story, enjoying the loneliness. The environment was giving him the right dedication that he needed for the story. He began imagining his ghosts, skulls, and zombies, and was just using the place and the loneliness to the ultimate extent. His story continued about a boy trapped in an abandoned asylum. After that, he was so happy writing this story. But suddenly, the worst smell of his life caught his nose. The smell seemed like that of a decomposed body, and he could not tolerate it. It was unbearable. The smell prevailed continuously, and Ron was just finding it intolerable. He decided to go down and take a walk, and he did so. When he went down, the smell was there too. He was so fucked up, as the smell won't go, and it was just killing him, that smell. Suddenly, the smell became the second issue when he heard some quadragenarian women crying, and some babies howling too. For the first time in his life, this boy was afraid of something supernatural. He was afraid. He was too very afraid and scared. He freaked out and wanted to go to his room, but knew that the smell would be there too. So he decided to stay at the veranda. Everything seemed scary to him now. May it be the dark night, the smell, and also the sounds of the animals. The lychee tree that stood there under a lamppost seemed scary too. He began walking continuously to the room, but something was behind him. A persistent wave of air which moved past him. It seemed as if someone was following him too. He increased his speed, and the air started blowing faster too. He was now sure that escape was necessary. It was immediate, so all he could do now was stare at the black sky and make his move. He made his move by running as fast as he could. He went to the veranda as the cries continued. When he was at the veranda, he saw something, and after that it was complete darkness. When his parents and his younger sister returned, they saw that Ron had killed himself by jumping off the building floor. Nobody knew the reason behind this suicide, but when investigations were conducted by the police the next morning, the locals said that this abandoned building was cursed because there were always sounds of howlings and cryings after 8 p.m. and moreover, it was earlier a mental asylum that turned into a guest house a few years ago, and it was built upon a graveyard. No people dared to enter it after guests complained that they heard someone howling and crying.